Hello, everybody. Scott McFarland here. So I am doing the responses for the next modular, video responses. So I'm going to be reading them also. So that's why I'll be looking to the left here for a moment. Think about people you've worked with, or learned about when struggling with opioid addiction. What made their recovery especially difficult compared to other substances? From your experiences, what support, counseling strategies, or resources made a difference, or could have made a difference in helping them move forward? Opioid addiction is much, much different, in my opinion, than other non-opioid receptor drugs, THC, acid, that kind of stuff. The reason I think opioid addiction is so much different is because it literally alters your brain function. It alters your opioid receptors. It alters your mentality. And we don't quite understand everything yet how to treat that. In my opinion, I've done drug and alcohol counseling for many years, and I have seen what the things do to people, what the drugs and opioid drugs do to people. It's a very different strategy that we have to use to treat these things. It is not a typical just a detox. It's more than a detox. It is more than just stop using weed or just stop drinking for 60, 90, 120 days. An opioid addiction is quite different. We have to give them other things to get them off the opioids that they're currently using. You don't have to give an alcoholic something to get them off alcohol. You don't have to give a THC user something to get off THC. So an opioid addiction recovery is a different environment completely. So. Reflect on a time when you or someone you worked with faced relapses, setbacks, or replaced relapses in the recovery process. Again, in addiction recovery, you see them 4 or 5 or 6 times. It's very rare that the first attempt gets you off the substance you're using. It's unfortunate. I worked in a care facility one time that a person crawled through a very tiny window to get into our office where we held the hand sanitizer. And he downed a ton of hand sanitizer to get drunk. Didn't work. He just got really, really sick. So when I see stuff like the things that people do to get their fix, the things that people do to get their next high or whatever it is, it's hard. Because that is a setback, and that is something that these people are having to deal with. And if you don't change your life, if you don't change your friend group, if you don't change sometimes your family, your work, all these things are going to have setbacks. You're going to have the temptation to use again. And I think that a strong base is what these people need to help and to be successful. What helped you, or they say, through the moment? What do you learn about maintaining resilience, compassion, and belief in long-term recovery? I think everyone can get better. I do believe that everyone can recover from every addiction they have with a lot of work and time, and unfortunately a lot of sacrifice. You go through a lot of pain to have to recover. And there's a process, and we have to follow that process, unfortunately. Okay, drawn from personal, professional, or community experiences, what approaches have you seen that help someone with opioid addiction stay motivated, engage in treatment, or believe in themselves? Getting rid of the stigma first that of addiction. People have a lot of stigma about recovery. People have a lot of stigma about addicts. The people who are helping them have to get over that stigma. They're not bad people. They've just made a few bad choices in their life. Whether it be religious support, family support, friend support, they have to have a really good support system to get over these addictions, to recover completely. And again, like I said, it's a process. I have a lot of tattoos in my body, and one of them is my hand. And I have something that says trust the process. And it's focus, it's strength, it's a bunch of stuff. And we have to understand that there's a process to recovery. We have to support that process. We have to give what support system, relation, counseling skills, or attitude to effective. So a good counselor also won't judge the person. And therapists, as counselors, we have to get rid of our bias. A lot of us have that bias. So a big step that we as counselors, we as therapists, we as social workers, we as whatever field we go into, have to get rid of is that personal bias. Because we can feel whatever we want to feel, but we can't act upon it when it comes to an addict. So I think a big support that's needed for these people is to find a caring, nurturing, loving, supportive person who will help them on their process.